The team going inside Hancock's place was mostly FBI, but there was a handful of CIA agents, too, led by Rooney. The CIA was in Idaho as a courtesy, partly because of the new working relationship that existed between the two agencies, but mostly because Hancock was directly involved in the murder of Thomas Weir, one of theirs. But I doubted they wanted to take Hancock down any more than I did. I wanted the wolf, and somehow, somewhere, I was going to get him. At least that was what I needed to think. Chapter 102. Koch and Rooney were in charge, and they finally gave us the go. At the appointed hour, we swarmed all over the Hancock house. FBI emblazoned shirts and windbreakers were everywhere. Probably scared off a few deer and jackrabbits, even though not a single shot was fired. Hancock was in bed with his girlfriend. He was 64 years old. Coral was supposed to be 26. Lustrous black hair, good figure, lots and lots of rings and things, slept in the nude on her back. Hancock at least had the decency to wear a Utah Jazz sweatshirt and sleep in a fetal position. He began to shout at us, which was actually kind of ironic and funny.
"What the hell is this shit? Get out of my damn house!"
But he forgot to look surprised, or he just wasn't a good actor. Either way, I get the feeling that he knew we were coming. How? Because he'd spotted us over the past few days? Or had Hancock been warned by someone in one of the cooperating agencies? Did the wolf know we were on to Hancock? During the first couple of hours of interviews, we tried Dr. O'Connell's truth serum on Hancock. It didn't work as well on him as it had with Joe Cahill. He got happy and high, but he just sat back and went with it. Didn't tell us much, wouldn't even confirm things that Cahill had already confessed. Meanwhile, a search of the house, barn, and 60 acres of grounds was going on. Hancock owned an Aston Martin convertible, and the wolf loved fast cars, but nothing else even vaguely suspicious turned up. Not for 3 whole days, during which nearly 100 agents combed every square inch of the ranch. During that time, 6 computer experts, including loaners from Intel and IBM, tried to break into Hancock's 2 computers. They finally concluded that he'd had experts put up extra security to protect whatever was inside. There was nothing to do but wait around some more. I read every magazine and newspaper in Hancock's house, including several back issues of the Idaho Mountain Express. I went for long walks and tried to figure out a direction for my life that made some sense to me. I didn't do real well, but the fresh mountain air was a nice treat for my lungs. When a computer breakthrough finally came, there wasn't much to go on. No direct link to the wolf or to anyone else who seemed suspicious to us. At least not at first. The next day, though, a hacker from our offices in Austin, Texas, found a file inside an encrypted file. It contained regular communication with a bank in Zurich. Actually, with a couple of banks in Switzerland. And suddenly we didn't just suspect. We knew that Hancock had a lot of money. Over $6 million, at least that much, which was the best news we'd had in a long while. So off to Zurich we went, at least for a day or two. I didn't expect to find the wolf there, but you never know. And I'd never been to Switzerland. Janny begged me to bring back chocolate, a suitcase full of the stuff, and I promised I would. A whole suitcase full of Swiss chocolate, sweetheart. Least I can do for missing most of your 9th year. Chapter 103. If I were the wolf, this would be a good place to live. Zurich is a beautiful, amazingly clean city on the lake, the Zurichsee, with lovely fragrant shade trees and wide winding sidewalks along the water and fresh mountain air meant to be breathed in deeply. When I arrived, a storm was imminent and the air smelled like brass. The exterior of a majority of the buildings were in light shades, sand and white, and several were adorned with Swiss flags twisting in the blustery wind off the lake. As I drove into the city, I noticed trolley tracks everywhere with heavy-looking wires hanging overhead. The power of the old. Also, several life-size fiberglass cows painted with alpine scenes which reminded me of little Alex's favorite toy, Moo. What was I going to do about Alex? What could I do? The Zurich Bank was a 60s-looking building, glass and steel front, situated very close to the lake. Sandy Greenberg met me outside. She was wearing a gray suit, had a black handbag slung over her shoulder, and looked as though maybe she worked inside the bank instead of for Interpol. "You ever been to Zurich, Alex?" Sandy asked as she gave me a hug and kiss on both cheeks. "Never. Had one of their multi-purpose knives once when I was 10 or 11. "Alex, we have to eat a meal here. Promise me. Let's go inside now. They're waiting for us, and they don't like to wait in Zurich, especially the bankers." The inside of the Zurich Bank was expensive-looking, highly polished, wood paneling everywhere, as spotless as a hospital operating room. The teller area was natural stone with more wood paneling. The tellers were efficient and professional-looking, and they whispered to one another. The bank's branding was understated, but there was a great deal of modern art on the wall. I thought that I understood. The art was the bank's branding. "Zurich has always been a haven for avant-garde intellectuals, cultured types," Sandy said, and didn't whisper. "The Dada movement was born here. Wagner, Strauss, Jung all lived here." "James Joyce wrote Ulysses in Zurich," I said, and winked at her. Sandy laughed. "I forgot. You're a closet intellectual." We were escorted to the bank president's office, which had a serious look. Neat as a pin, too. Only one transaction on the desk blotter, everything else filed away. Sandy handed Mr. Delmar Pomeroy an envelope. "A signed warrant," she said. "The account number is 616479Q.
Everything has been promptly arranged,"
Herr Pomeroy said to us. That was all. Then his warrant officer took us to look at the transactions in and out of account number 616479Q. So much for the secrecy and security of Swiss banks. Everything has been promptly arranged. Chapter 104. This was feeling more like an efficient, orderly police investigation now, even though I knew it really wasn't. Sandy, two of her agents from Interpol, and I got to look through all of Corky Hancock's transactions in a small, windowless room somewhere deep in the basement of the Zurich Bank. The former CIA agent's account had grown from $200,000 to slightly over $6 million. Yowza! The latest and largest deposits totaled $3.5 million and had come in 4 installments this year. The source of the payment was an account in the name of Y. Yikamirov. It took us a couple of hours to track down all of the records. There were more than 100 pages going all the way back to 91, the year the wolf had been brought out of Russia. Coincidence? I didn't believe in them. Not anymore. We carefully examined withdrawals from the Yikamirov account. They included payments to a company that leased private jets, regular air travel with British Airways and Air France, hotels, Claridge's, the Bel Air in L.A., the Sherry Netherland in New York, the Four Seasons in Chicago and Maui. There were wire transfers to America, South Africa, Australia, Paris, Tel Aviv. The trail of a wolf. And an entry that particularly caught my interest. The purchase of 4 expensive sports cars in France, all from a dealership in Nice, Riviera Motors. A Lotus, a special edition Jaguar, and 2 Aston Martins. "The wolf is supposed to be a sports car enthusiast," I said to Sandy. "Maybe the cars mean something." Maybe we're closer than we suspect. What do you think? She nodded agreement. Yes, I think we should visit Riviera Motors in Nice. Nice is nice. But first, Alex, lunch in Zurich. I made you a promise. No, I think you made me promise, after my bad Swiss Army knife joke. I was hungry anyway, so it seemed a good idea. Sandy chose the Vettliner Keller, one of her favorites, a restaurant she thought I would appreciate. As we entered, she explained that Vettliner Keller had been a restaurant since 1551, a long time for any business to survive. So we forgot about police work for an hour and a half. We dined on barley soup, zuppa in Gadenese, a casserole, Vettliner Topf, and very good wine. Everything was just so. Crisp white linens and napkins, roses in sterling vases, crystal salt and pepper shakers. This is one of your better ideas, I told Sandy near the end of the meal. A nice break in the action. It's cold lunch, Alex. You have to try it more. You should come to Europe with your friend Jamila. You're working too hard. It shows, I guess. No, actually, you look as good as ever. You're holding up better than Denzel. In his latest movies, anyway. Somehow you persevere. I don't know how, but you do. But I can tell that you're twisted up inside. Eat, relax. Then we'll go to Nice and check out some sports cars. It will be like a holiday. Maybe we'll even catch a killer. Finish your wine, Alex. Right, I said. And then I have to buy some chocolate for Janny. A suitcase full. I made another promise. Didn't you promise to catch the wolf? Sandy asked. Yeah, that too. Chapter 105. Next stop, a luxury car dealership in Nice. I felt as if I were in an Alfred Hitchcock movie. The owner of Riviera Motors, the concessionnaire exclusif Jaguar, Aston Martin, Lotus, appeared to like drama, too, at least in a design sense. To that effect, a long row of gleaming black cars was displayed in the showroom. The cars were clearly visible from the street through monumental bay windows. The shiny black machines cut a startling contrast. I need a new car, I said to her, and I know the wolf likes fancy sports cars. We went inside and stopped at the reception desk in front. Behind it was an elegant reception person, well-tanned with a bleached and ironed ponytail. She was checking Sandy and me out. Both over 6 feet, ebony and ivory. Who are these people? We're here to see Monsieur Garnier, Sandy said to the woman in French.
You have an appointment with Monsieur, Madame?
We do indeed. Interpol and the FBI, respectively. And respectfully. While we waited, I continued to take in the place. The expensive cars were precisely parked in a herringbone pattern, interspersed with voluminous potted plants. In an adjacent service atelier, mechanics in matching Jaguar green jumpsuits worked with pristine tools. The manager of the car dealership appeared after a couple of minutes' wait. He was dressed in a fashionable gray suit, but not too flashy, just clearly expensive and right.
You've come about a couple of Aston Martins? A Jaguar? A Lotus?
Something like that, monsieur, Sandy told him. Let's go up to your office. We wouldn't want to hurt business by talking down here in the showroom. The manager smiled.
Oh, believe me, madame, our business is bulletproof.
We'll see about that, I told him in French. Or maybe a better way of putting it, let's try and keep it that way. This is a murder investigation. Chapter 106.